in regards to numericals, like to look into their, how should I say, their mortgage compared to how much they would get at the end. Would you be able to go over that?
Can you say the question again?
So for example, if the seller goes, oh, is it good for me to sell? How much would I be able to net at the end? Like, would you be able to go over numbers like that at the end?
I mean, yeah, it's where you do need to have all those numbers figured out. You need to be able to, hello, welcome everybody. So you do need to know how to figure out that number, because remember, without clarity, they're not gonna move forward.
Yeah.
So any times when the seller have any doubt in their mind, they will not move forward.
Yeah.
So you must know everything about the listing, about the market price, about how much money they're gonna get in their pocket. You must know everything. You must share the answer with them, share the information with them, and help them to make the decision. Let's say if they ask you, oh, so how much money can I put in my pocket? If you cannot give that answer, if you cannot answer that question correctly or clearly, they will not move forward.
Is there any way you can help us go over that?
It's very simple. Okay. So let's say if the home is 500,000, right? No, let's say if the home is 1 million. Let's say if they owe $500,000, right? So that means subtracting the mortgage, then there's gonna be $500,000 left, right? Let's say just because when you're doing this calculation, it doesn't have to be down to the dollars and cents. It's just approximate, so that they have idea what they're looking at, right? So so that's because the home is $1 million, right? And that's assume if the both buyer side and seller side commission is 5%. Okay.
Okay.
So 5% plus, that just assume all the expenses is gonna be 1% approximately. Everything, title, insurance, title and escrow, everything included. So you're looking at a total of 6%, right? So basically 5% total commission plus 1%, all the miscellaneous fees add up together, right? So that's 6%. So how much fee is that? 6% on $1 million. How much fee is that?
So basically you just calculate that.
So yeah, so basically because the home is 1 million, right?
Yeah.
And the commission is 5%, which is $50,000.
Yeah.
And the fees is about 1%, which is $10,000, right?
Yeah.
So how much would you tell them they can net?
Okay.
Try to do the calculation. Let
40.
Me know the answer.
Or 40.
Yes, exactly, right? So yeah, it's very simple. So you don't need to, you don't really need to give them like down to the, oh, you're gonna get $400,000, $98.50. It doesn't need to be that detailed. As long as you give them approximate range, then it should be okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, did I answer your question?
Yes, that did.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So that's what made the listing presentation a little bit harder. Is because in the beginning, if you're not sure, you can answer all the questions, then you're gonna be very nervous.
Correct.
But the problem is, if you don't start going to the listing presentation, you're gonna be always nervous. And if you don't start going to the listing presentation, you will always not have the answer to all the questions. So only as you go to more listing presentation, then you will start to understand more about the kind of questions they're gonna ask, and eventually you're gonna be able to figure out most of the questions, the answer to most of the questions. So that's still the key. The key is still to go to as many listing presentations as possible. That way, you know how to answer all the objections. That way, you know how to answer all the questions. And also, you know how to observe the customer. You know how to observe the how to say when to say what. How to respond with the right question, with the right answer, and you'll be able to resolve all the questions they ask you. Because any question they ask you cannot answer, they will not sign the paperwork. Because in their mind, that's a risk, right? That's a question that's not answered. So if they don't know the question, if they don't know the answer to the question, they will not sign the listing. So you must be able to understand everything, but it's gonna take time. So don't try to force yourself. Okay, I have to understand everything. I have to understand everything. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to understand everything. You're not gonna be able to answer all questions from the beginning. It just takes time. So that's why it's crucial that you want to go to as many listing presentations as possible.
Mhm.
Okay, we have 19 people, so I think we can start. Right now it's 10:05. Okay, so I'm gonna share the slide now. By the way, everybody, if you look at the screen, look a little bit funny because I'm doing the presentation on the phone now because the power is out at my house. So I couldn't use my computer. So right now I'm using the phone to do the presentation. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the slide. Let me see. Are you guys able to see the slide okay? Everybody see the slide?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so today we're gonna talk about, because before we're talking about a lot of how to get a listing, how to sign a listing, how to do open house, how to use a listing to get more listings. So today we're gonna talk more about the implementation, about systemizing the whole process, and also what's the basic business concept is for being a listing agent. We kept talking about being a listing agent, but actually you're not an agent. So if you want to really, if you want to do well to hold on, let me admit somebody. Okay, let me see. Okay. I gotta, because I'm on the phone, so it's a little bit harder to navigate. So you want to change the mindset, because a lot of agents, they're acting like they're employee. So if you're gonna be an employee always, that's gonna be hard for you to do the business. It's not gonna scale, and also it's gonna be hard to grow the business. That's what I'm saying. So you want to think more from like a business owner's perspective versus an employee's perspective. So that's what we're gonna talk about today too. Okay, we're gonna start. So today's the 8th section. It's called Systemize Your Business. Okay. So I want to do a little bit promotion because some people asked me before about how to do a cold call training. So I come up with a cold call course. Hold on, let me close my door. Hold on. So I come up with a cold call course. The reason I come up with this course is because the cold call, there's no way you can really study on your own. The only way you can become good at cold call is through role playing. So that's why it's crucial to join a class. So the way I learned cold call is through a class too. So basically we had a class and we just practice every day. That's how I become better. So once you become better at cold call, it's going to help you with the listing presentation too, because essentially you're gonna have to know how to respond to people, no matter what kind of question they ask you. So I'm gonna go quickly over about what's the content of the cold call course. It's a 4 section. So we're going to talk about psychology, and we're going to talk about mechanics of the cold call. We're also going to talk about the scripts and also, how to confirm the appointments. So if anybody interested in, doing the cold call course, let me know. Okay. Okay. So let me see. Okay. So systemize your business. So there's a 4 section. Actually, let me see. No, actually 3 section. We're going to talk about the business fundamentals, and then we're going to talk about the ladders, and we're going to talk about the hiring. Okay. So for the business fundamentals, you want to remember. So we're being a real estate broker. We're essentially a sales organization. So pretty much there's the only 2 things we need to focus on is marketing and sales. Marketing and sales. But obviously, we're gonna need to, if once your business starts to grow, then you're gonna have to hire people to help to grow. And this we kind of talked about a little bit about this last time. You cannot be everything to everybody. You know, if somebody they say, oh, because sometimes I go to listen presentation, right? They say, oh, can you do it? Because usually they ask me how much commission. Then when I tell them a commission amount, they're gonna be like, because after I share with all the service I provide to them, they say, oh, can you do it for this amount, 2%, whatever? Then then I pull out a price sheet. You know, it's okay. You know, for the different price you want to pay, there's different service level, right? So you cannot be like, oh, I want to pay 2%, but I want everything. There's always a give and take, right? So what I mean is you cannot be everything to everybody. If they wanted to pay a market rate, then you get more service. So you cannot be both cheap, lowest commission, and also provide the best service. That's just not possible. So you just need to. So when you're doing your business, you just need to keeping focus in your mind. So are you trying to be like a discount broker, or are you trying to be a full service broker? If you're a full service broker, if you can offer more service, if you can get them more money, then you're entitled to charge more commission, right? So I know there's sometimes there are like a lot of like a low commission broker. They try to steal out of the agent's business by offering like really low commission. That's not very productive. They're just doing something for nothing. They charge people 1%, but they're not making any money. That's just counterproductive. You're not gonna make any money. Why you keep only charging people 1%? So I'm going to talk a little bit about this, the 5 stages of business. This probably doesn't have too much to do with what we're talking about, but it's just something in general about business. You might, is interesting to know. So basically, there's 5 stages of business. Depending on how much revenue you're making. So let's say if your revenue is between $100,000 to $1 million, so your focus is going to be sales. Let's say if your revenue is 1 million to 10 million, then your focus is going to be marketing. Let's say once your income is 10 million to 50 million, your focus is going to be system building. Once your focus 50 million to 100 million, your focus is going to be standardization. And anything over 100 million, your focus is going to be building the platform. This is just something good to know. Okay, so this concept is actually very important. So I know many agents, they're working like they're employee person. They're trying to do everything by themselves, and that they're not willing to get any help. Their rationale is, I can do the job the best. I can do it 100%. If I hire somebody else, maybe they can only do 80%. So basically, you become your own bottleneck. So you try to do everything by yourself, because you think you can do it the best. But sometimes it may not even be true, right? But because you try to do everything by yourself, then you're not going to grow. That's going to be very hard to grow because you only have 24 hours a day. You only have 7 days a week. So you got to think more about, this mentality, about wanting to do everything by yourself. So this is the organization chart. Okay, I'm going to go back to talk a little bit about this slide too. So a lot of people, they are still
Ray,
working like yeah, go
Ray,
ahead,
yeah. Someone's trying to get in. I just want to let you know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, because I'm on the phone today, so it's a little bit harder to. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let me go back. The power in my home is out, so I'm doing it on the phone right now. Okay, so for the people, because like I mentioned earlier, right? Most agents, they think they're employee person. They think like that, so they're always looking for security. They're always worried about where's my next commission coming in. That's their focus. For the self-employed person, you have more independence. So it's something good to know. If you want to figure out about this quadrant, you can study a little bit more online. There's a whole bunch of information about this. So in a typical real estate organization, I'm not even talking about a broker. I'm talking about like maybe if you are like a listing team. Usually you will have the rainmaker. So you're going to be the rainmaker, right? Because you're going to be the main person bringing in the business. And to have a good admin is very important because essentially when you're a rainmaker, your focus is going to be on sales. But there's still going to be a lot of admin work that needs to be done. So if you don't have a good admin work to help you, that means you got to do the admin work yourself. But if you're doing the admin work yourself, that means it's taking time away from selling. If it's taking time away from selling, then it's going to be hard to increase your production. So that's why once your income grew to a certain level, you want to hire your first admin as soon as possible. That way she or he can take over all the, the administrative work. So later on, after you have more business, then you're gonna hire more people: listing manager, marketing manager, buyer's agent, customer service, etc., and appointment booker, etc. So, do you have any questions so far? Anybody has any questions so far about what we just talked about earlier? Okay, if not, we're gonna move forward. So, about creating a S corporation, this is what I do. It's your decision if you want to do it this way or not. I'll tell you a little bit about the pros and cons of opening a corporation. I think the best reason for opening a corporation, there's two reasons. One reason is that's what I heard. I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but by the way, I'm not a CPA. Okay, this is not legal advice, or this is also not a tax advice, but this is just I'm sharing with you from my experience. So the number one reason you want to do a business under S corporation is because this is from what I heard, that from the IRS, for somebody to audit your corporation, there needs to be a CPA. Only CPA can audit a corporation. But in each IRS office, there's a very limited number of CPAs. But most of the people that work in the IRA, they're enrolled agents. So basically, they have let's say in each office they have 100 enrolled agents, but maybe they only have 2 CPA or 3 CPAs. So if you're operating your business under your personal name or sole proprietorship, so any enrolled agent can audit you. But if you're operating your business and the corporation, supposedly only the CPA can audit you. So that's dramatically reduce your chance of your possibility of getting audited. So that's number one reason you want to operate your business under S corporation. Another reason you want to operate your business under corporation is the simplicity, because you need to expense all your for the accounting purpose. You need to categorize all the expenses. If you're operating under a proprietorship, and if your finances are commingled between your personal business and between your personal spending and your business spending, it's going to be very hard to do the accounting. But if you have a corporation, that's much easier, because your business and your personal finances are completely separate. So if you decide to get a corporation, here's how you do it. Okay, first you register as corporation. I just did it myself. I just did it on LegalZoom. If you want to find a CPA, that's okay too. So I just registered my corporation on LegalZoom. So usually you register C corporation first, then you modify that C corporation into S corporation. If you want to know the difference, you can do a little bit more research online. Basically, S corporation is for like mostly self-employed people. That way you don't have to be taxed twice. You only need to be taxed once. So you register S corporation and you get an EIN number. The reason you want an EIN number is because without an EIN number, you cannot file taxes. Also, without an EIN number, you cannot open a bank account. Then once you have the corporation and you have the EIN, then you open a bank account, business bank account under the S corporation. So once you open a business bank account, you want to open a business credit card, and that way you can expense all your expenses under the business credit card. That way, when it comes time for tax filing, you just send the information, all the expenses from the business credit card. That's very easy. So much easier than try to figure out which one is for business, which one is for personal use. So basically, expense everything on your card, and also all your commission payment, make it paid to your corporation instead of to yourself. There's many benefits. There's many deductions when you conduct a business under S corporation. Okay. Any question about this section? Okay, we're gonna move on. Okay, so we're gonna talk about different ladders. So first, we're gonna talk about the scaling ladder. So this is how you scale your business. Okay. The first thing you need to do is get a coach or get a mentorship, get a mentor or get a coach, or join a coach program, just like what you're doing now. although we're just doing the 2 hours a day for, at once a week, but it's giving you a lot of new information. So it gives you something new to think about. How can you make changes in your business? So that's very important, because if you do not, learn something new, if you do not, associate with somebody that's doing it differently, then you're just gonna keep doing your old way. If you keep gonna doing the same thing the way you have always been doing, you're not gonna change, right? They say the definition of insanity is what is keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome, right? So if you want a different outcome, you gotta learn something new. So that's how you scale. Okay, then once you get a mentorship, then your income is gonna increase. Almost always your income will increase. Yeah, as long as you copy what you learned. So once your income increase, then you want to hire your first admin as soon as possible, just like what we talked about earlier, right? Because basically being a real estate salesperson or a real estate agent or in a sales organization, your primary job should always be selling. So that's why you want to hire an admin person as soon as possible. That way you can focus on selling, right? So once you focus on selling, and then you probably have more budget, then you can start to do some marketing, so you can get more business, right? We're talking about scaling, how to scale a business, right? So once you get once you start to increase marketing, then maybe you're gonna get overflow of business. Then you can hire more people, right? You can hire inside sales agent, you can hire buyer's agent, then you can hire more people from other team. So this is how you scale your business, okay? Because one person, you only have so many times in a year, in a day, right? You only have 24 hours in a day. You only have 7 hours in a week. So for any single agent, if you can sell like 30 to 40 or even 50 homes a year, that's already a lot of work already. There's no way you can, it's gonna be very hard for you to sell more homes if you don't get any help. Any questions so far? Is this boring? Go ahead, yeah.
What is the difference between the sales agent and buyer agent?
The inside sales agent is the person that's booking the appointment. The buyer's agent is the person that's gonna go, show the buyers to close a deal with the buyer. The inside sales agent is the person that's booking the appointment.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Is this helpful at all? I just want to get some feedback. Is this relevant to what you guys want to hear? Want to find out? Want to listen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so the next one is the scale ladder. So because the last ladder we're talking about is scaling. It means how to grow, right? The next ladder we're talking about is the skills ladder. So so in each stage of your career, you're gonna have to increase different skills. That's how you can, grow stronger and become more efficient, become more productive. So the first skill you want to learn to master is the offer implementation. You want to learn how to implement the offers, because every time when you do the marketing, you want to make sure you're telling people the right message. For example, sellers want the buyers, buyers want the homes, right? So you have to know what kind of offer to give to different prospective customer, right? So if it's talking about seller, hey, if you're talking to a seller, then you gotta be able to make the right offer with the seller, right? What are some of the examples? For example, guaranteed cash offer, guaranteed offer, more money for your home's a guarantee, so I can get you more money. So you want to know what kind of offer to offer, to give to the customer. So, and after you know what kind of offer to give to the customer, then you want to know how to market, right? You want how to reach the customer. These are all the skills you need to perfect, you need to learn, and you need to improve, be able to grow your business. So after you know what kind of offer to give, then you need to find out where you can get your message across. Where are these people? Where are the potential customer? Where can I find them? How can I find my customer the cheapest way and the most efficient way? Whoever that can find the customer the cheapest way and the most efficient way is the person that's gonna win, that's gonna be able to succeed. Okay. And once you know how to reach the customer, then you need to know how to book appointment with the customer. So let's say if you have all this advertisement, and when some customer call you or you call somebody, If you don't know how to talk, if you don't know how to book appointment for them to be willing to meet with you, then it still doesn't work. So that's another skill you need to be good at, right? And then once you have the customer willing to meet with you, then you need to know how to do the presentation, right? Like we talked about before, right? So you need to master your presentation skill. So because if you're not good at presentation, if you don't have the skill to close the client on the spot, then no matter how many appointments you go, if you cannot have them sign the listing contract, then it's not going to work, right? So that's why we kept talking about listing presentation. And obviously, during the listing presentation, you want to know how to handle all objections. You want to know how to answer all the questions, because if they have any objections, if you don't know how to respond, and if they have any questions, if you don't know how to answer the questions, they will not sign the listing. Okay. And once you sign the listings, then you need to figure out how to sell the property. For the past couple years, that's not a problem because the homes are flying off the shelf like crazy. But as the market changes, then you need to put more effort into how to sell the homes. So you need to how to sell the home. And like we talked about last time, right? Once you get the listing, then you need to know how to leverage that listing to get more listings. That's another skill, right? And another very important skill to have is to how to understand how to negotiate the fees. So basically, that's a type of objection handler. So every time when the seller try to reduce the commission, every time the seller try to negotiate nickel and a dime with you on the commission, then you need to know how to talk to them, how to get your idea across, so that they agree to your commission. So let's say if the seller say, oh, so and so my friend, he's only charging me 2%, then you gotta know how to answer, right? So if you say, oh, 2%, oh, if you don't know how to answer, then you're gonna be like, oh, that's okay, I'll charge you 2% too. You cannot do that, right? At least you gotta try, give it a try, right? To try to keep your commission. If the seller say that, you can say, oh, okay, so I mean that's good and all, but are you interested in getting more money in your pocket, or are you interested in paying the lowest commission? So you need to know how to respond to those kind of objections. Also, after you master all the above skills, then you need to because then you're ready to grow, right? Because you're not gonna handle all the business by yourself anymore. Then you need to hire people and train people. You need to know how to do that, right? So, and you also need to know how to lead people. So I mean, this is a lot to learn. I mean, although I'm sharing this information with you guys, but I'm still learning too. So the learning just doesn't never end. Okay. Any question about this section? Is this helpful at all? Okay, then we're gonna talk about the hiring ladder. So like I talked about earlier, right? First, you want to hire a coach. Hire somebody that's gonna share with you how to move ahead. And then most importantly, once you make more income, then you're gonna hire the first admin. And once you hire the first admin, then you want to hire an inside salesperson. Once you hire the inside salesperson, then you want to hire the first buyer's agent. And then there's more other team member you need to hire. So this is the progression of what kind of people you need to hire from during each stage of your business. So now let's talk about how to hire. Okay, so I have some team member in this course right now too. So when I hire people, I make sure to have a really detailed instruction. So whoever that's interested, they need to be able to follow instruction. So if they cannot even follow instruction, then there's no way it's gonna work, because they cannot communicate like that, right? So once you know they can follow instruction, then you wanna. So that's what I mean, right? You only want to talk to people that's qualified, right? That can at least follow instruction. Then you want to make sure they have the right personality, because each different job, it requires a different type of personality. For example, there's somebody that's detail oriented. Maybe it's better for them to do a like a paperwork, right? For example, somebody that likes to to talk, that like to communicate with people, maybe it's better for them to do the customer service job. So you need to make sure the person that's the job that you give it to them is to fit their personality. That would be much easier for everybody. And also, it's best to have the experience, to have similar experience. Otherwise, it's gonna be very hard to train from the beginning. Then you want to talk about their motivation. You want to talk about their personal goals. So that's basically the simple version of the hiring process. So the qualifications, you want to make sure they have integrity, they can work fast, have good energy, wanting to learn, ability to do the job and comprehend the job and want to do the job, and must be a problem solver. So as far as training, just like your training too, right? So everybody needs to train every day. So yeah, go ahead.
So the people you're hiring is from what's the channel you're hiring? You put in ads or newspaper, or you go to the school, university, or I mean, or you hire the people from like remote assistant. I mean,
Yeah,
which channel?
There's two types of people you can hire, right? One type is the local staff member, local team member. Another type is a virtual team member. So for the virtual team member, mostly we hire from the onlinejobs.ph. For the local people, that's just depending on you. You can put some advertisement on Facebook, on people referral, or from newspaper, whatever. So just whatever channel that that has something to do with hiring. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So for the training, it's very important to train every day. So a lot of stuff I'm sharing with you now, I myself, I need to improve too. I'm definitely not perfect. There's a lot of stuff here that I'm sharing with you guys. I need to improve. That we need to improve too. So the person that's you hire, they need to know what they need to do every day. They need to know what to do on each status. For example, once the home become active, what we should do. Once the home just coming soon, what we should do. Once the home become pending, what we need to do. So everything needs to be systemized. Because if it's not systemized, if there's no checklist or system, then if the team member don't do it, who's gonna do it? Like I said earlier, right? You cannot do all those every single task, because if you're gonna do every single task, you have no time to sell, because your focus needs to be focusing on the sell, right? Okay. So also you need to have the operation structure. You need to also have the right marketing implementation. You need to have a system for that. How to lead. So you need to align the goal, have the right incentive, make it fun, make sure people are responsible, and also room for growth. So we're gonna talk more about how to hire your first admin, because that's very important. Hire a right person that become your admin. That's gonna be a really great help to your business. Ideally, you want to make sure the admin has the right experience, and like we said earlier, must have a personality that fit the job that they're doing, that's willing to do the job, and also willing and able. Okay. So for the training, you want to make sure there is a clear vision, clear understanding, and the right incentive. So the admin job function. So what an admin is supposed to do every day is, they must know what's consisting the daily activity. They must, understand the process that's involved with each process. For example, once the home become active, what should I do? Once the home becomes sold, what should I do? What should I do every day about marketing? How do I work the systems? So that's what the admin person is supposed to focus on. So how do we systemize marketing? So this is an example. So once the listings become active, once we sign the listing contract, then we're going to install the sale sign, and then we're going to text the 300 owners nearby. So when we're doing before we do the open house, once become pending, then we're going to install the sold sign at pending. So once at the pending, then we're going to send out just sold postcard. We'll send we'll send a postcard saying that we still have buyers looking to buy a home. And we'll send maybe 200 or 300 postcard at pending. We'll send it 3 times to the same neighbors, to the same people in the neighborhood. We'll send, for example, 300 at pending, another 300 2 weeks later, another 300 postcard 2 weeks later. It could be postcard, or it also could be letter. So this is an example of how to systemize the marketing. It's basically a checklist. So basically, when you have this checklist, so that every time when the home is become pending, then your admin people, your team member know what to do. That way, you don't have to keep reminding people. That way, you can focus on selling. So when you hire a buyer's agent, what's the must-haves? So you must have an overflow of business to hire the agent, right? So that's something I need to do better too. Also, you must train every day. Also, the buyer's agent must pass the presentation, because if they don't know how to do the presentation, there's no way they can do the deal, right? Also, it's better to show the home within 72 hours. So let's say every time when you have a buyer, it's better to show the home within 72 hours, 3 days. Okay, so today's kind of short. We're 35 minutes into the hour. Anybody have any question about what we talked about today?
I have a question, Ray.
Go ahead, yeah.
When it comes to like the 300 text messages, there's no rule or anything in terms of like blasting that out. Because I know for calling, I guess if they're on the do not call list, I don't know if that applies, or I don't know if that applies for texting as well.
Yeah, that's a tricky question, because we're trying to do business, but the government tries to make sure we don't disturb people. So I'm not 100% sure on that. So that's your call. If you don't want to disturb people, then you just do not send the text. That's the thing, right? Sometimes, okay, so I was sending the postcard out before, and there's one guy, he actually called me. He said, "Stop sending me the postcards, because we're sending the same postcard 3 times." He called me, he said, "Stop sending the postcard, we're not selling." At least I know he's the owner, right? So, I mean, he's not selling now doesn't mean he's not selling 10 years from now. So there's going to be a time he's going to sell. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we're in the sales industry, that's our job, to market to people. There's no way to get around it. Because not everybody want to be talked to. Not everybody wants to see a postcard. Not everybody wants to receive a text message. But there's no way to get around it. I don't know how to answer your question. I mean, that's just something you have to decide on your own. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Anyone
Yeah, we
else
usually
have
knock
any
on. Yeah, we usually knock on doors around open houses now. So
yeah, that's the knocking on door around open house is actually pretty effective, because like we talked about last time, it gives you a reason to talk to people. Yeah.
Jay, can you go to the previous page here?
Which page?
Yeah, this one. Oh, sorry. No, the last page here. Still, go down the last one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Why? What I mean, must show home within 72 hours. Why?
Because here's the thing. There's a couple of reasons. Because the longer, once you get in contact with the customer, the longer it takes, the less likelihood you're gonna close the sale with that person, right? Because there's gonna be other agents, they're gonna become busy, and you're gonna become busy. So the best thing to do is, whenever you meet with a new customer or prospective buyer, then just try to make it a point to try to get them out to see the home within 72 hours. This way, you will greatly increase your production too, because that's 3 days, right? So 3 days, you have 30 days in a month, right? So that means you can show homes 10 times a month. So if you can show homes 10 times a month, let's say out of those 10 times, maybe 5 times they're gonna make an offer, right? It may not be the same people. It could be different buyers. So let's say you show 10 times a month to different buyers, and out of those 10 times, you make offer 5 times. Let's say out of those 5 times, 2 times your offer get accepted. So it's just a numbers game, right? That's what sales is. It's a numbers game. So you must be able to have a way to to make it into to put it into a matrix to have it to be a number, right? So if you calculate like that, so that means if you really show, if you show somebody, at least you always show somebody to a home or a couple homes, you always show homes every 3 days. That means most likely you're gonna be able to sell, 2 homes a month.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
because if you do not do it like that, it's not gonna work, because it's all depending on mentality, right? If you're gonna treat it, because that's the problem, because we have a lot of realtors, they treat this business like a side business, like a side hustle. Because when you treat it like a side hustle, it's just gonna be a side hustle. It's not gonna be a real business. So basically, a lot of what we're talking about today is how to turn a side hustle into a real business. Because most people, they treat it as a side hustle. If you're gonna treat it as a side hustle, your income's not gonna change, because it's by chance. There's no structure, right? Everything is when we get it around it, when the buyer's willing to see it. If it's all like that by chance, then your income will not increase. It's a sales business. So if you want the income to increase, then you must adhere to the numbers. For example, show a home at least every 3 days. That means you're gonna show 10 buyers every month. Out of the 10 buyers, 10 showings every month. That means you're gonna probably make 5 offers. Out of 5 offers, maybe 2 offers gonna be accepted. Because a lot of times people, talk about people. I know there's a lot of people, they try to avoid the sales job because they think the sales job is not stable, right? Because that's why a lot of people, they stay in a 9-to-5 job, although they know it doesn't make a lot of money. So for example, like when I was working for General Electric, I was only making 30,000 or something a year. That was a long time ago. But once I sold 2 homes, then I quit the GE job, because I just sell 2 homes, I make more money than what I do in GE for the whole year. Why is that the case? And still a lot of people still hang on to a full-time job, because in their mind they're thinking full-time job is a stable job, because they're thinking every twice a month they're gonna get a check, right? And they associate being a salesperson with being unstable. It's unstable because you're making it unstable, right? But you can make it stable, just like what we talk about, right? If you really show somebody, you always at least show a buyer at least every 3 days, then it's gonna be stable, right? Because by calculating the number, if you're gonna show a buyer at least every 3 days, then most likely 9 out of 10 times you're gonna be able to sell 2 homes a month. If you sell two homes a month, that's way more money than what anybody make on a job. Doesn't matter. I don't care if you're a doctor or a lawyer. If you can really sell minimum 2 homes a month, you're gonna make more money than all those high-paying people. But the problem is most agents just treating it like a side job. They're not treating it like a business. So if you really want to increase your income, if you really want to increase your production, if you really wanted to excel in this business, you have to treat it as a business, not as an employee, not as a side hustle, not as a part-time job. So not only you need to treat it like that, your employee needs to treat it like that too. The employee cannot be, I'm gonna work a little bit today, I'm gonna take a break tomorrow, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Everything has to have a system. Everything has to have a checklist. Every day, this needs to be done. That needs to be done. So you gotta have the structure. Without a structure, it's just not gonna work, right? Like for me, every day. So basically, right now, today we're talking about the structured business. You need to have a structure in your life too. Like for example, every day I wake up, I do the meditation, I practice my Wing Chun, I go take a walk. That's my structure, right? So why do I have that structure? Because I have that structure to keep me as a person in the best condition, both physically and mentally and spiritually. And you need to do the same thing with the business. I'm preaching you guys on this stuff. I'm also preaching to myself, because sometimes I don't do it the right way either. But if you wanted to get the right outcome, then you need to put that structure and that routine into the business. and treat it as a business. And any other questions?
I have a question,
Yeah, go
right?
ahead. Yeah.
So I think you have buyer agent, and what kind of coordination? So you hire how many buyer agent? For example, you want him to show 72 hours within 72 hours. So are you going to be assigning the property, or the buyer agent will take this whole responsibility his to assign the property, search for property, and coordinate showing? So what kind of like structure you have with the buyer agent and you?
Okay, so this is something I'm also learning myself. I'm also trying to improve myself too. So there's two different type of buyer's agent, right? There is the showing agent, then there's a buyer's agent. So the showing agent, they don't do the paperwork, they do not do the negotiation, they just show the home. So for the showing agent, the commission, obviously the split is going to be much lower. And then there's the buyer's agent. For the buyer's agent, whether what the split is going to be, it's going to be between you and the buyer's agent. And also depending on, where the leads come from, right? So let's say if their own customer, of course, the split to you is going to be low. But let's say if it's your customer, then the split is can be much higher because you're supplying the, the leads, right? So that's why I say, if you're gonna hire a buyer's agent, you gotta have a lot of overflow of leads. And if you don't have the customer to give to them, especially nowadays in California, it's very competitive. You have nothing to offer, then it's gonna be hard to hire the buyer's agent. You must be able to, have a lot of business for the buyer's agent to, for it to work. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Yeah, so the most important thing, I know some people still do not want to establish the S corporation, but if you're gonna do it as a business, like I said earlier, treat it as a business. Establish, create the S corporation, open a business account. It's gonna be so much easier. And also you're gonna have so much tax incentive. Again, I'm not a CPA, this is not a CPA advice, this is not a tax advice. I'm just sharing with you my experience. So I'll share with you some of the tax incentive, okay? So I think, I don't know if I'm 100% correct, but I think somebody said that if you buy a Tesla, you can expense all the expense for Tesla. What does that mean? Okay, let's say if you make $100,000 this year. Let's say if you buy a $50,000 Tesla. So suddenly your tax basis, instead of $100,000, then become $50,000 because you spent $50,000 on a Tesla. Also, any cars, any SUVs, any pickup, any cars that's over 6,000 pounds, I think you can expense at least 25,000. So let's say if this year you made 100,000, let's say if you bought an X5. So there's certain models online. If you go search, there's certain models that are qualified for this tax incentive. Let's say if you bought an X5, I know X5 qualified because over 6,000 pounds. Let's say if you made $100,000 and you let's say if you bought an X5, BMW X5, and let's say if you bought it for 50,000, so from the 50,000, out of the 50,000, then you can subtract 25,000. So that means your tax basis become 75,000 instead of 100,000. Also, every time you go eat, you can expense half of the expense. Also, every time you go travel, you can expense some of the travel expenses. Also, if you use part of your home as a home office, you can expense some of that as well. Yeah, so there's many tax incentives. So you want to make sure to take advantage because the more tax you can expense, the more income you can take home. That's a great advantage of being a real estate broker. You're not, because you're getting 1099, you're not getting a W-2. If you're getting W-2, there's no way you can expense anything. Let's say if your W-2 income is 100,000, no matter what, they're gonna take out whatever tax from there. They're gonna take out, for example, 30,000. Then you only left with 70,000. But if you getting the income with 1099, then you can that 30,000 doesn't have to go pay for the taxes. That can go to your expenses. For example, your gasoline, for example, your marketing. So let's say if you really have a lot of income, it's better to pay for advertising than versus paying the taxes. So yeah, so you want to make sure to manage your taxes very well so that you don't lose money. But of course, all of this won't happen unless your income increases. Okay, any other questions?
Hi, Ray.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Michael. I have a
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
So you set up a S corporation, and
Yeah.
So the name of the S corporation should be associated with the real estate, or it could be any name.
So here's the rule. Okay, so here's the rule. So there's a couple of things. One is the name of the corporation. Another one is the DBA. Another one is registration with the DRE. So for the corporation, it could be anything you want. So for example, my corporation is Ray Chen and a company. But let's say if I'm gonna advertise my business as Ray Chen and a company, then I need to, that's okay. Let's say, for example, when you guys pay me the taxes, I mean, when you guys pay me the tuition for this course, the check, the name you put on the check is Ara Realty, right? So that Ara Realty, that's the DBA for my corporation, which is Ray Chen and a company.
Okay.
Okay, but if you're advertising in California, then you cannot just say your company name. Even if you have a company, you still need to write down your broker's name. For example, Pacific Sterling Realty. You still need to have that somewhere on an advertisement. So it's more for tax purpose. But let's say if you want to use your corporation name, I think you can do it too, but you still need to show your personal name because that's what the BRU requires. But if you're gonna use some like a corporation name, then that's different from your corporation. Then first you need to do the DBA, and then you need to, for example, let's say there's a lot of broker office. Their name is like so and so corporation, but the name they have facing the public is so and so realty. So they're using the DBA. So if you're gonna be able to use that DBA, then you need, number one, you need to file the DBA with the county, and number two, you need to file that DBA with the BRE, which is the real estate board, so that they give you the permission to use that DBA, so that DBA is on the record. But yeah, but to make it simple, just register the corporation. Pretty much you're still gonna be doing your business under your personal name and your broker, which is Pacific Sterling Realty. But you're gonna get all your income paid to your corporation, and you're gonna expense everything from your corporation for tax purpose.
Okay, so in order to set up the S corporation, so we should have a broker license or not?
No, you don't. You don't need a broker license. You're not opening a company. You're just doing business under your corporation. That's all. You're still an agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You just so because most agent, I understand most agents are doing business under the sole proprietorship. So like I shared earlier, right? The problem with sole proprietorship is much easier for them to audit you. Their cost for audit is much easier because they can use any enrolled agent to audit you if you're sole proprietorship. If you're a corporation, then if I'm correct, then only the CPA can correct from the IRS can audit you. And also it's much easier to expense when it comes to tax filing time.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions?
Right.
So right now, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. For the section, you said you're going to have the coaching on that calling or cold call. So I don't know if you have ever attended any McFerry Perspective clinic. Just want to know if there is somewhat different, or this is some way you feel, which is how do you differentiate it from yours to McFerry's Perspective clinics?
No, I haven't been to that clinic. So I took a different course. So basically here's the thing about cold call. the cold call, you're not gonna be able to learn cold call just by studying. The only way you can learn cold call is by practicing. So basically, obviously, we're gonna teach you, the right way to how to say what to say and how to do it. But the most important about this course is that you will get a chance to practice. So let's say if we do 5 days, 5 days and 2 hours a day. So let's say 2 hours a day, right? So that's let's say if we have 5 people in the class, so plus for me, that's 6 people. So that means because every time when you practice, that's one pair. So that's 3 pair, right? So that means 2 hours, 120 minutes. 120 minutes, we have three groups. So that means each group get 40 minutes of practice. Obviously, we're gonna take turns. So for example, this time you practice with me, next time you're gonna practice with somebody else. So basically so you get to practice so that, because if you don't have enough practice, if you don't know what to say, you're gonna spend, for example, you're gonna maybe spend 2 hours and dial on the phone. And finally you get to talk to the seller, and because you don't know what to say, they click, hang up on you. So that's the reason you want to practice, so that when you spend 2 hours trying to look for the seller to talk to on the phone, once they pick up the phone, you know what to say, and you can book the appointment. Because if you don't practice, if you're just gonna try to practice on real life, you're not gonna get enough chance to practice. Because the chance of you get to talk to a seller that's willing to talk to you is not very often. Let's say even if you call 3 hours a day, maybe you're gonna get most 1 or 2 sellers that's willing to talk to you. But if you're not prepared, then even if they pick up the phone, they're gonna hang up on you for sure. Because you gotta think about from their perspective. Because every day, especially in California, the market is very competitive. Every time the home becomes expired, they get like 1,000 calls maybe. They're very pissed off. They're very frustrated. If you don't know what you're doing, they're just gonna hang up on you and they scream at you and they curse you out. So this gives you a chance to understand how to say what to say to the seller, and it gives you a chance give you a chance to practice on how to respond to all objections. That's the key. Because when you're on the phone, they're gonna give you a whole bunch of objections, and you need to be able to respond to all objections to book the appointment. If you cannot respond to the objections, you cannot book the appointment. Also, you also need to know how to make the right offer. So you need to know how to make the right offer, and you need to know how to respond to all objections. That's the only way you can book the appointment. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
Quick
go ahead.
question.
Yeah.
So if they don't answer, do you just call back, or do you just leave a message and then wait for them to call back?
So that's why on the section 2 you see of the cold call coaching is talking about mechanics. Because we're not calling one by one, we're calling with a machine. Remember, we're able to call 600, 500 to 700 numbers in 2 to 3 hours. It's not manual dialing, we're calling by machine. With a power dialer.
Right.
Yeah, so basically we're just gonna keep dialing. If there's a voicemail, then we're just gonna click, leave a voicemail, click, leave a voicemail, click, leave a voicemail.
Oh, okay.
We're not gonna try to get back to anybody. We're just trying to, on each session, we're just trying to go through as many numbers as possible until we get somebody to talk to, the seller that's willing to talk to us.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Like I said earlier, about 2 hours, you're gonna get to practice 40 minutes. So other times you're gonna be able to learn too, because when other people are practicing, then you'll learn from that as well.
Right, I have another question.
Yes.
So how many inside sales agent, like are they have to be like licensed, or they don't have to,
No,
or
they don't need
are
to
they
be
just
licensed.
telemarketer?
No, they don't need to be licensed. No.
So are they like doing virtual
Yeah. Well, it depends. You could there's different way people do it. Some agents, they have virtual ISA sales agents. Some people, they have like an agent that's inside sales agent that's sitting in the office. It just depending on how you do it. But first, before you can hire an inside sales agent, first you need to be the inside sales agent, because you need to know how to do it first. If you do not know how to do it first, there's no way you can hire an inside sales agent, because number one, you cannot train them. Number two, you don't know if they're doing it right or wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you need to know how to do it first. You need to master it first personally before you can hire other inside sales agent. That's what I did. So I went to the course, then I did the calling, then I know how to do it, then I teach my people how to do it.
So having this cold call coaching will pretty much let us know how we can do it, right?
Exactly. You will know the mechanics, you'll know the psychology, you'll practice every day. So it's basically a week, 5 days a week, 5 days, 2 hours a day.
I remember you mentioned something about the cold call coaching. You attended one of the cold call coaching before, and this is how you get some of the main or core concept, and then you build your own.
This is how that's how I learned. Exactly. I went to the coaching course before. Yeah, I actually paid $2,000 for it. Yeah, that's how I learned.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Is it 11 o'clock?
Wait, real quick. So this class, the coaching class, starting when?
Just depending on who joins. So I was talking with Sunny. Probably we need to have a minimum of 5 people. That way, including me, there's 6 people. That way we can have 3 group can practice, and you can change teams, change pair, and practice. So if we can, ideally 5 students. If you only have 3 students, maybe we can start 2. But ideally 5 students. Just depending on whenever we can have enough students to start. Yeah.
Joined. I don't know if you saw.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Update.
Any other questions?
We're going to talk through requirements for Go to Bank and adding a new partner to.
Oh, sure. There's 2 people I didn't admit. Sorry. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. If there's no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, the other day, I went to a property, that is, expired listing, but I didn't have a chance to talk to the owner. I only talked to the parents of the owner. So
Okay.
I gave them my card, and, I asked the parents to pass the card to the owner, but they didn't reply to me. So do you think go to their second time?
Yes, you can. I mean, are they living together?
Yeah, they live together.
Okay, there's a couple of things you can do. Number one, you can ask them, when the owner is gonna come back, see if you have the parents' permission to come back at that time. Number two option, you can try to get the owner's phone number so that you can call the owner directly.
Okay.
Go ahead, yeah.
Since I already gave them my card, and they didn't reply, so I don't think they, still interested in selling their property.
No. That's just your assumption. Do not make that kind of assumption.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be the parents didn't tell the owner. It could be the parents told the owner forgot. It could be anything. So don't make that kind of assumption.
Okay. Okay, I see.
Yeah, if you want to be sure, then just go again. So to make it better, so for example, let's say when you meet the parents, you can figure out what's the best time that the owner is gonna be available. That way, number one, you can make appointment. Number two, if there is no appointment, then you can try to go at that time when the owner is gonna be home.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's best to get the number. If you could get the number, that way you have a way to communicate with them, with the owner directly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Never make assumptions. So I would say making assumption is the worst it's really bad for salespeople. Because like I'm not saying this to you, you know, I'm just saying in general. For example, Michael, because you were having that kind of assumption, but that most of the time is not true. So
Okay.
if you make that assumption, then you're gonna lose that deal. But if you didn't make that assumption and you go back and the owner happens to be there, maybe you're gonna get the listing.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, it's the same thing goes with the presentation too. In the presentation or anytime when you're dealing with the customer, never make any assumption. You want to figure out from them directly what they want, what's their problem, what they're thinking, what's most important for them, what price they want. Do not make any assumption, because 99% out of the 100% of the time, the assumption you make is not true.
Okay.
If you make an assumption for the customer and 99% of the time it's not true, then that means you're not getting them what they want. If you're not getting them what they want, then you're not gonna get the business. The only way you can get the business is when you know what they want and you're getting them exactly what they want. That's the only time you're gonna get the business.
Okay.
And the only time you get a referral and good review and repeat business is when you understand what they want and the outcome you give them is more than what they wanted. When you exceeded their expectation.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Anybody want to talk about the experience, like what Michael just shared? Anybody have any other experience like this? Because when you ask question like this, you know, everybody can learn. Like any one of you that when you were trying to, you know, get a listing, when you're trying to talk to the seller, when you're trying to call the seller, you know, any experience you guys run into that you're having problem, or it might not be a problem. It may be a success story, or it may be something that is not working. Anybody have this kind of a story want to share?
I have a question, you know, for the younger generation,
Yeah, go ahead.
they believe the online selling. So what would you say to the younger seller that, you know, because we're traditional agents and
Oh, you're talking about the iBuyers, right?
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
no, the seller side on the listing side.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
if
know.
they believe that, you know, like, you know, they can just sell real fast online and no trouble,
So
they don't have to go through the staging, you know, or
yeah, you were saying them going to like a iBuyers, like the open door, like a Redfin, like
right,
a Zillow buyer, something like that,
right,
right?
right.
Okay, it's very simple. You can tell them they're being scammed, because when you can show them too, because those companies, they're gonna tell you the commission is only 1%, but they actually charge you a service fee that's 6%. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that. How's the 6%?
Because they try to tell the sellers, hey, sell me the home hassle-free, only 1% commission. But what the sellers do not know is, on top of the 1% commission, they're charging you a 6% service fee. They just call it, it's also commission. They just call it a different name. Most companies are doing like that.
Oh, so instead of commission, service fee.
Yeah, if you show this to the people that's saying they can sell cheaper online, then they'll find out they're being scammed. Do you
Okay.
think they're gonna be wanting to pay 7% online just because it's easier?
Okay.
You can go look it up. I think most of those iBuyers, they charge a really large service fee. It's commission. They just put it on a different name.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
that's actually what happened to me. I was doing an open house. This company called Fly Homes, it really pissed me off. So I was doing the open house in Rancho Cucamonga this past weekend. A Fly Home agent came to the open house, and solicited my seller in front of me.
Wow.
I'm gonna report that agent. She's very stupid. She
my-
gave the business card to the seller and she got the seller's phone number
Oh, no.
in front of me.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Mm.
Any other questions?
Same thing for fly home. They advertise they just charge 1%, right? And then, but they actually charge more.
You gotta double check. I know there's quite a few iBuyers. They work like that. They tell you it's only 1%, but then they charge you a big like a 5 or 6% or 7% service fee. But they just put it on a different name.
I see.
So the seller actually try to have some kind of question like what you just talked about, like about these iBuyers, online buyers. So that's what I told him. I showed him too. I just did a search on Google and I showed him, hey, this is how much they actually charge. It's not 1%, it's 7%, 8%. Then he saw it, he said, oh, okay, I didn't know.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll search Google. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions? Okay, so it's 10 past 11. If there's no more question, I'm gonna complete the session. Any feedback on what? Because I think we have 2 more class left, right? What do you guys want to focus on in the remaining 2 class? Where you guys think you need the most help, or you want the most information on in the 2 remaining class? Anybody?
I need to think about it. But
Okay, yeah.
give
So
me
you can
today
think
to
about
think
it.
about it. I'll send
Yeah,
something.
think about it and then just send a quick message in the group. Whatever you wanna. I still have the survey, but if you guys have something else that you're thinking about, you can put your answer into the group. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think,
ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think we need more strategies and to learn more answers to different questions from the seller. You know,
Okay.
there are a lot of different kind of seller, but I think they have some something in common. You know.
Okay. So if everybody agrees, the next session we could do nothing but objection handler. Just do live objection handling. So any question you have, any question you have from the seller, just tell me, and then we'll do the objection handling live.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that way, that's very important. It's good that you brought it up, Michael, because there's no way you're gonna try to sit there and figure out answers on the spot. There's no way. The only way you can give the answer right away is when you already know how to answer and you already memorized it. That's the best way. So if you want to do really well in the listing presentation, you need to already have the answer to all questions. Doesn't matter it's about the price, doesn't matter if it's about the commission, doesn't matter it's about iBuyers, doesn't matter anything. Everything they ask you, you must have an answer. If you can do that, then your chance of getting the listing is gonna be, it's gonna be greatly increased.
Ray,
Yeah.
I'd like to go over the offers that you present to the seller initially. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been in and out of Mike Ferry coaching for years, right? I role play
Yeah,
every day with Mike
Yeah.
Ferry one-on-ones.
Yeah.
But that offer system that you use is totally different.
Okay.
I'd like to go over that because
Sure.
I've even discussed that with some of my associates and friends from Mike Ferry. That's
We can
totally
talk
different.
about it. We can talk about it now. We can talk about it now. Or like, what question you have about the offer?
Well, you have different offers, like, that are like promises that, that are a little different.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe he give us some offers and we'll break them down next time because, you don't have time for that right now. So.
Okay, we can. I mean, now it's only 14 plus 11. If everybody's okay, we can go over it now.
So do you have offers available so we can break them down?
Yeah, it's all in my mind. So we can get you at least 5% more money for your home. We have three more buyers that looking to buy a home in the area right now. We have a guarantee. We can guarantee your cash offer in 24 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
Like what question do you have about these offers?
But isn't that kind of like you're making promises you may not necessarily be able to keep?
Let me give you a reason why not. Okay. So let's say if somebody wants to sell their home for $1 million, right?
Right.
And I'm sure you have investor clients, right?
I've worked, yeah, I work with investors and flippers and all that.
Okay.
And then, notice a default and all that stuff.
Okay. So you have, at least you have, every agent have some investors, right?
But
So
you
that's
never
it.
know whether investor, what his parameters are, what for the particular property.
Okay, what do you think is most important for the investor?
What to make money. And usually it's like 70% on the dollar that they're going to buy.
Right. The most important for the seller, for the investor is the price, right? So
right. But you don't know whether
investor,
that investor is going to buy that particular property.
Okay, let me ask you this question. If the home market price is $1 million, and if the seller wants to sell for $500,000, do you think all the investors in the world is going to buy it?
Well, yeah. I mean,
right. So it has nothing to do with the home. It has everything to do with the price.
But is that kind of just BSing them and being
No, it's not. It's not BSing. It's just depending on what they want. If they're in a default, then they probably want to buy the discount price. Yeah.
Yeah, if they notice a default, they have to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not trying to tell you to use the offer I just shared. This is just an example of the offers I may be using, but you can pick whatever offer you want.
Well, that's what I was saying. Maybe you have different offers, and no one. I don't know. Just it's different than I've been exposed to, and I mean, yeah.
So that's the thing. You want to differentiate yourself, right? If you do not want to differentiate yourself, then that's your choice. You can say, okay, we have the buyers. So so are you saying you feel more comfortable with that versus other offers we just talked about?
No, I never say that, because that's like you never say that. I mean, because that's kind of a lie. And everyone says that. There's a lot of agents out there that'll show up with a fake buyer, and
no, it's not a lie though. I mean, why would you say it's a lie when you say you have the buyers?
Well, I'm not saying that, but like I'm saying some agents, for example, will say I have a buyer and show up with their wife or their friend. I say, oh, here's my buyer.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about some kind of gimmick like that. I'm saying, let's say, because the last time you said what, you're gonna focus in what, Orange County?
Well, yeah. Well, I live in Yorba Linda, but I mostly focus on Orange County.
So are you telling me you're not gonna feel comfortable to tell the seller in Yorba Linda that you have a buyer?
If I don't have a buyer, then I'm lying.
No, but how can you not have a buyer if you live in Yorba Linda and you're a realtor in Yorba Linda? How can you not have a buyer that's looking to buy in Yorba Linda? That's impossible. You might have a buyer you even forgot you have. I'm sure you have a buyer in Yorba Linda. How can you not have it? You may have it and you forgot about it.
Okay.
Why is that lying? Okay, I'm saying I have a buyer that's looking to buy in Yorba Linda. I'm not saying I have a buyer that's gonna love your home and buy your home specifically. Oh, I have a buyer for your home. It's true, because the buyer is looking to buy Yorba Linda, but whether they're gonna like your home or not, I'm not sure. But okay, but if I say, okay, I can make an offer, I can make a 24-hour cash offer to your home, then you can if you want to, because there are buyers that's looking to buy in Yorba Linda as long as the price is right. If the seller is willing to sell, for example, let's say if the price is $1 million, if you really wanted to give them an offer, then let's say if the investor they really wanted to buy in, because I have investors call me every day, and okay, I have this guy. His name is Eric, because usually I have a lot of listings, right? So there was a time, every time I have a listing, he sent an offer. Every time I have a listing, he sent an offer. They're all lowball offers. I didn't even have to fake anything. The offer is already there, because he's an investor that just want to send an offer to every listing. So in that case, I did not do anything. Even if I have nothing, I'm still not lying because this every time I get a listing, he put an offer. Every time I get a listing, he put in an offer. I did not do anything.
But what if that's not the case for another person?
If that's not the case, then you just if the seller, let's say if you sign the listing and the seller say, hey, you told me you have a buyer, you have an investor, and you told me you can give me the offer in 24 hours. Where's the offer? Then just talk to the investor. Hey, I know that you want to invest in your Belinda. Can you make an offer in for this home? I don't know how much you're gonna get it, but whatever offer you want, I can put it in for you. Let's say if it's $1 billion and if the investor only want to offer for 700,000, they're not doing the work. You're doing the work. It doesn't hurt them to give it a try.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Does that qualify? I mean, does that meet your conscious level? Or?
Sort of, I guess. And you mentioned like, having buyers fight because before you went over several different offers, right? 5% over, I'll buy your home if no one else buys it, those type of things. Like, for example, what if someone says, let's say, hypothetically, I told someone that, and it was a $3 million home.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way I can qualify to buy a home for $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
And the investors I know, they're not looking to buy $3 million homes. They're looking to buy homes in like in the Riverside, things like that, So
okay, that's just depending on you. If you don't feel comfortable about it, if you really don't think you have a buyer that's gonna offer for $3 million home, then you just don't make that offer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there is somebody that's gonna be willing to make an offer. It's just that you don't know that person yet.
Okay.
But if you don't feel comfortable, then just don't make that offer. Then just make a different offer. Because all we're doing is, okay, we're trying to differentiate ourselves. Because if you just anybody, like a Joe, if you just any like a Jen or Joe, you're not gonna be noticed. Nobody's gonna pay attention to you.
Well, that's where the skill comes in, and knowing how to handle the objection really fast. And because you only have like 1 or 2 seconds, or the
no, the objection, that's actually a different problem.
No,
we're
but
talking about the marketing. We're talking about marketing problem.
Well,
so that's why we're talking about offers. Offers is essentially we're talking about marketing.
But you're talking about cold calling, right? Or are you talking about marketing?
No. Okay. Yeah, same thing. Either cold calling or so we're talking about the offers, right? Either what we say to them on the phone or what we put online.
Oh, I was talking about the cold call.
Yeah. Okay. For cold call. Okay, let's go back to cold call. So for the cold call, don't be too complicated. Just stick with one offer that you're comfortable with. So for example, nowadays the offer we're making, we can get you at least 5% more money for the home. When's a good time to see your home? Just pick one. You don't have to, dance around with different offers. Just pick one offer you're comfortable with. Just stick with that offer.
Okay.
Did I answer your question or no?
Yeah, I got you, Ray. I appreciate that.
So I'll give you more example. Okay. The reason I say I can get you at least 5% more money for your home is because it's true. Why is it true? Okay, you actually bring up a very important topic. Whatever you sell, you must personally believe it.
Let's say it expired. Usually homes expire because of the price.
Yes.
It didn't sell because of the price.
Yeah.
Now, if he was overpriced, and you're telling me get 5% over, and
no, I'm not talking about 5% over the price they want. I'm talking about 5% over the market price. How can I guarantee 5% of the price they want? They could the home is worth $1 million. They could say they could ask for 1.5 million. I'm not going to guarantee you to get them 3% more on top of 1.5 million. I'm guaranteeing 3% more on the market price.
Mm-hmm. And it's also, and I can't write. I think there's a confusion of it's basically a math thing. You really got to look at the numbers and say, okay, if it's $1 million, you're going to give them 5% more. really going to list it at? If you know it's going to sell for $1 million, you know you're probably going to try and get that 5% more at listing it at 950, right?
Yes. No.
Okay.
No. We're not talking about
Okay.
we're not talking about 5% more over the listing price. We're talking about 5% more over the market price.
Over the market
As
price.
far as how we gonna price, as far as the pricing strategy, you got to give me the freedom to work on my pricing strategy. You cannot tell me, oh, okay, you told me you can sell for 5% more for my home. So the home is worth $1 million, and I want to sell it at $1,050,000. So that's the price I want to list. No, it doesn't work like that. If your home is worth $1 million, and if I promise to you I'll sell your home for $1,050,000, then you need to give me the permission to price strategy the home. I cannot sell the home if you're gonna tie my hand and tell me how much you're gonna list the home at. That's the problem I'm having with this new listing I have in Rancho Cucamonga. The home, before we put on market, the Zillow estimate was $980,000. Okay, so I also promised him I can get him at least 5% more money, and he believed me. Okay, here's what happened. So the estimate was like only $950,000. But he insisted on listed at $1.1 million. So I talked to him and he agreed to list it at $1,050,000. But that's still really high. So we listed at $1,050,000. It's still over the market price. Then the first open house was pretty good because it's a new listing. So we had a whole bunch of buyers, but no offers. I know why there's no offer, because of the price. Then he come back to me. He's telling me, oh, we gotta change this, we gotta change that, we gotta do this. I said, stop. It's not about any of this other issue. It's the price. You need to lower the price. Okay. So he said, oh, okay, let's just wait until one more open house and see what happens. If no more offers, we're gonna lower the price. Then he finally agreed to lower the price to $990,000. I'm not saying, when I say I can get you 5% more money, I'm not telling you you can list it at 5% more money than the market price. I'm telling you, if I deploy my strategy, there's a very high chance I can get you at least 5% more money for the home that you are selling. But you need to give me the freedom to do what I need to do to get you that money, that price. Did I answer your question, or do you have any other question on this, on the same topic?
Ray, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you talk about marketing price, market price, so how do you justify your market price? Are you using your CMA to tell this?
Yeah, it's very simple. I look at the homes sold during the past 3 months within 1 mile radius. The comparable homes are in the very small range, comparable price square footage, and also the size of lot, and also similar upgrades. That's very accurate, right? I'm not comparing a 2,500 square foot home with your 3,100 square foot home. I'm comparing, because your home is 31 square foot. So I'm only comparing homes that are around 3,000 square foot. I'm not even gonna compare 2,500 square foot home, because the 2,500 square foot home, the price per square foot is much higher. I'm not gonna compare that, because that's not the same home. A 2,500 square foot home is not the same as a 3,100 square foot home. I'm only gonna be compared this apple to apple. I'm not gonna compare apple to orange. When I'm comparing apple to apple, then I know how much your home is worth. It's not worth $1.1 million.
I have a question, because I know you're talking about the previous 3 months. Actually, as the seller market is concerned, is every month we have a certain percentage of the appreciation. For example, did you calculate inflation and then somewhat competition? Each month you have some increase. Okay. 5%, 10%. Are you going to taking this into your factor?
If there's enough comparables in 1 month, then just change it to 1 month. If there's not enough, then you got to change it to 2 months, 3 months. and you can see the change. If the price is the same, didn't change, then you don't need to, factor in any other scenario.
But everybody know when we are doing the offer, sending the offer, we always put like 5%, 10%, a certain amount higher than that.
No, like I said earlier, do not make the assumption. Every market is different. You need to look at the most recently closed home. This is what I do with the Rancho Cucamonga home too. Every market is different. Do not make that assumption. We talked about this earlier. Never make any assumptions. So I showed him. I said, hey, because he wanted to list high and sell low. Then I showed him. I say, hey, look at all these homes that's been sold recently. None of them are sold it that way. They all the ways they've been sold is list low and sell high, or list low and sell low. So you need to figure out how the homes have been sold in that market, in that neighborhood. Do not make any assumptions. It's different for every market. Some market people pay more over the asking price. Some market people pay less below the market price. Every market is different. Every neighborhood is different. You need to pull out that number and look at it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think pricing, and then when we tell the seller market price, fair market value, sometimes it's kind of subjective as far as
No, it's not subjective. It's not.
No,
you say no, it's not subjective. You say it's subjective because you're not, you're not narrowing down the numbers clearly.
okay.
If you narrow down the number clearly, then it's not subjective. How can that be subjective? If you're looking at all the people they are paying more over the asking price, then you know that's the way the market behave. If you look at another market, people are paying less than what the asking price, then you know that's how the other market behave. That's not subjective. For example, right now in Rancho, I showed him, I say, hey, nobody's paying more than asking. People are either paying at asking or below asking. No, actually, no, I said it the other way. I said nobody's offering on the paying less than asking. Everybody's either paying at asking or a little bit above asking. So if that's the empirical data, then that means his strategy of listing high and sell low won't work, because in that market, people are not buying that way. People are buying the home by making offers on the lower price home and adding up the price. Every market is different. You got to look at the data. That's why I say do not make any assumptions. Because a lot of times most agents, people like to make assumptions. They go to the listing, to the listing presentation, and they say, oh, let's use this strategy. That's a list low and sell high. But they don't know. They don't know whether that's what's going on in the market or not. They never did that research. They never bothered to check, is this what's happening in the market? Because some market is not happening this way. So for example, let's say maybe in Arcadia, I didn't do the research. I'm just giving an example. I'm just making an assumption. I'm just trying to give an example, okay? Let's say if in Arcadia, because couple months, like last year or the year before, what I see in Arcadia is happening is that nobody is paying over the asking. Every home that's been sold, for example, let's say if the home is listed at 3 million, people people bought it at 2.5 million. Another home sold at 3.5 million. People bought it for 2.8 million. So everybody's cutting off the price from the asking price. So that's a different behavior from a different market. You need to check you need to check the data to see how each market, how buyers are buying the home. There is a reason for it, by the way. For example, so anyway, yeah, you get my idea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. You need to be confident about your price. If you're not even confident about your assessment of the price, it will be very hard for you to get listed, because you do not even believe in yourself. You must have 100% clarity on how much this home is worth, 100%. If you, inside your mind, you do not have 100% clarity about how much this home is worth, it's very difficult, because that shows through your conversation. and the way you talk and your confidence level. If you're not sure, if you're not 100% sure how much the home is worth, you will not talk confidently. You will not be able to talk confidently for sure. I know. For example, every time I go to listing, I know exactly how much this home is worth. I know exactly what I need to do to get this price, because I know that exactly. I have a clear vision in my mind. Then I can talk to the seller with 100% confidence. If you do not even have 100% confidence in you, how can the seller have 100% confidence for you? Essentially, because every time when you go meet with a client, you are transferring your energy to the client. Okay, let's say if you have 100% energy confidence about yourself, and after the talk you're able to transfer that into the client, then most likely you're gonna get the business. If you're not confident yourself and you're gonna give them some conflicting energy, you're not gonna get the business. I mean, you know, when you meet with a seller, you're gonna talk, you're gonna do a lot of talking, you're gonna listen, you're gonna communicate, but 90% of the communication is not in the talking. 90% of the communication is in how you feel about yourself and how you carry yourself in front of the client, your confidence level, how you present yourself, you know.
Can I do a last question?
Yeah, go ahead.
For a rental property, if the price market price would be like 450, but because the rental home, the condition is not that great. I mean, we don't even want to put the pictures on the MLS for inside of the home, maybe just the outside. Then when you price it at the 5% below the 450 or even more to attract more buyer.
Yeah, if it's not a good condition, of course you're gonna try to attract the buyer, because the more buyer you have, the more option you have. Because let's say if you market at the market price, and if you only get 2 buyers, 2 renters, and they come, both renters don't like it, then you don't have a rent. You cannot lease it out. Let's say if you put it 5% under the market price, you attract 20 renters. Then the likelihood of the 1 renter out of the 20 is gonna rent the home is much higher than the 2 renters that's gonna rent a home. It's just a numbers game. It's just a percentage, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's the same thing as so that's why I have so much confidence when I say I can guarantee I can get you at least 5% more money for your home, because all I'm doing is I know the strategy that I use can generate a lot of interest and can get a lot of buyers to come look at the homes and can get at least 5 to 10 offers for the home. The reason I can get at least 5% more money for the home is because I can get you a lot of offers. And when I have a lot of offers, then I can get the buyers to bid against each other. So that's why I'm so confident I can get you at least 5% more money.
Yeah.
I'm not just confident and talk like a bullshit, like for no reason. I have a reason. I have a confidence in myself. I know how I can do it. In fact, I can do it for sure. That's why I'm confident. But it takes time. If you're just starting out, if you haven't done the whole process, or if you haven't, then it's gonna be hard for you to do it. But that's why you gotta practice. You know, the more you practice and the more confident you're gonna be. The confidence doesn't come from nothing. It comes from the experience you have, and it comes from you knowing that you can do it. It comes from that knowing that you're not bullshitting the customer. It comes from that you, in your heart, you know that you're the best choice for the client. Okay. First, for the client to pick you, first you have to believe in your mind that you're the best option for the client. If you think, oh, I think he's gonna do a better job than me to help this client, then you're not gonna get the business, because even you do not even believe in yourself. How can the client believe in you? Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, so if that's it, then so next session we're gonna do objection handling for the whole session. Okay, So I think we have enough time to go over most of the objections on the listing presentation or on the expired call. So basically what you need to do, you need to, once you know those objections, then you need to memorize all the objections. That way, anytime we talk with seller, anytime we meet an objection, you just put up from your memory and respond right away. That's the level of experience you want to achieve to be able to, you know, handle the customer with confidence. With confidence. Okay, so if that's it, so then we're gonna conclude today's session, and the next session we're gonna do objection handling. Okay, everybody's okay with that, right? Objection handling. We're gonna do objection handling next time.
Yes, thank you, Ray.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. See you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you. How do I turn it off? Let me see.